Hi, dear friends. Noor Manjandi here from Sufi Vibes. Today, I would like to explain about the two famous poets of the world. One is T.S. Eliot of English poetry, and the other is Shah Karim. Although there is a difference of 400 years between both of them, however, there is some type of similarity in one of their poems. Uh, T.S. Eliot has wrote a great poem that has been very much famous throughout the world, and that's topic is Hollow Man. And Shah Karim has composed only two lines. They are covering all of the themes and thoughts presented in the entire poem of T.S. Eliot. Firstly, I would like to recite Eliot's poem, Hollow Man. We are the hollow man, we are the stuffed man, learning together, headpiece filled with straw loss, our dried voices when we whisper together are quiet and meaningless as wind in dry grass, or rats feet over broken glass in our dry cellar, shape without form, shade without color, paralyzed force, gesture without motion. Those who have crossed with direct eyes to death's other kingdom. Remember us, if at all, not as lost, violent souls, but only as the hollow man, the stuffed man, the hollow man, the stuffed man. Eyes I dare not to meet in dreams, in death's dream kingdom. These do not appear. There the eyes are sunlight on the broken calm. There is a tree swinging, and voices are in the winds singing, more distant and more solemn than a fading star. Let me be no nearer in death's dream kingdom. Let me also wear such deliberate disguises, a rat's coat, crow's skin, crossed straps in the field, behaving as the wind behaves, no nearer, no that final meeting in the night, in the twilight kingdom. This is the dead land, this is cactus land. This is the dead land, this is the cactus land. Here the stone images are raised. Here the stone images are raised. Here they receive the supplication of a dead man's land under the twinkle of a fading star. It is like this in death's other kingdom, waking alone at the hour when we are trembling with tenderness, lips that would kiss from prayer to broken stone. The eyes are not here. There are no eyes here in this valley of dying stars, in this hollow valley, the broken jaw of our lost kingdoms. In this last of meeting places, we grope together and avoid speech, gathered on this beach of the timid timid river, sideless, unless the eyes reappear as the perpetual star, multifoliate rose of death's twilight kingdom, the hope only of empty man. Here we go round the prickly pear, prickly pear, prickly pear. Here we go round the prickly pear at 5 o'clock in the morning. Between the idea and the reality, between the motion and the act, falls the shadow. For this time is the kingdom. Between the conception and the creation, between the emotion and the response, falls the shadow. Life is very long. Between the desire and the spawn, between the potency and the existence, between the essence and the descent, falls the shadow. For this time is the kingdom, for thine is life is, for time is the This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. This is the way that world ends. Not with a bang, but with a uh, whisper. So, if we will focus on it, then it's a very famous poem of the world, and it reflects much more things, and it reflects about the emptiness and failure. It is declining a state of being where people are just vacant shells going through the motions, snapping at his earlier, more chaotic breakdowns by showing the limp aftermath. Listen to how it stands. The whispers are to rats on glass. The whispers are compared to rats on glass and wind in dead grass. Here he is using ugly, sharp sounds and underline the dryness of it all. The shadow is the main enemy. It is the thing that kills every potential action before it starts. This is the external chaos. It is the internal choke hold that stops any idea ever becoming real. It ends with a twisted nursery rhyme, that creepy sing song about a prickly pear cactus makes the whole apocalypse feel pathetic and small. A cry from the dramatic ends other writers of his time were painting. It is picking up pieces from his previous cosmic burnout. It shapes the same fragmented, barren world but swaps complex spiritual questions for a single defeated whisper about being too spent to even try. The last line is the point. That famous whimper is not just an ending, it is the final proof of poem's whole argument about total modern failure. It robs even doom of the dignity. Now we are taking another couplet by Shah Karim. The Hyun Hazur Jan Pirin Akhden में Hyun Hazur Jan Pirin Akhden में ठला डांडा सखणा हुआ ही जाड़ जियन. So, firstly, if we are comparing both of them, then it has the symbol of hollowness. The central metaphor in Shah Karim's verse is that Thalla Danda, it means empty skeletons. And if we are focusing on the translation of both of the poems, then of couplets of Shah Karim, it will be that यूं हाज़ुर जन पिरीन अखड़न में ठल्ला डांडा सखणा हुई जाड़ दियन. Those who have no presence of the beloved in their heart and they don't have beloved in the eyes, they are living the lives just as empty with empty bodies are they are just like empty vessels and emptiness. So Shah Karim, when focusing on Thalla Danda or empty skeletons, he says that a person devoid of divine love possesses only a physical form without spiritual life. The body becomes a shell because the heart is absent from God's presence. Eliot opens the hollow man with the almost identical metaphor. We are the hollow man, we are the stuffed man. That is great similarity between both the ideas. Both poets portray human beings as externally existing but internally empty. The difference lies in emphasis. Shah Karim attributes hollowness to the absence of beloved, Eliot associates hollowness with the loss of faith, moral exhaustion, and spiritual crisis of modern civilization. Thus, both poets use bodily imagery to symbolize inner spiritual vacancy. Second is spiritual presence versus spiritual absence. Shakarim says, "Hyun hazur jan pri nakden." That heart must remain spiritually present, or the beloved must remain present in the heart, and the beloved also be remained in eyes. So physical existence alone is meaningless unless accompanied by inward remembrance or zikr and divine love. Similarly, Eliot's hollow men are spiritually absent. They confess shape without form, shade without color, paralyzed force, gesture without motion. Like Shakarim's life lays skeletons, Eliot's figures possess physical form but lack spiritual vitality. Body versus soul. Shakarim distinguishes between the physical body and the living heart illuminated by divine love. Without the latter, the body becomes a mere skeleton. Eliot repeatedly contrasts appearance and reality. Headpiece filled with straw, he says. The body survives, but consciousness has become sterile and incapable of authentic spiritual action. Both poets therefore reject material existence without inner awakening. Symbolism and dryness. Shah Karim spiritually calls or compares empty people, Jad Jian, living without any meaning. Eliot develops some imagery through symbols as this is the dead land, the cactus land, the dry cellar, dry grass, dryness in both texts symbolize loss of divine grace, sterility, emotional desolation, spiritual death. The recurring imagery of dryness creates a universal metaphor for the soul cut off from its source. Number five, mystical and modernistic perspective. Although both poets diagnose spiritual emptiness, they propose different worldviews. Shah Karim reflects Sufi mysticism. He says uh, he is of the view that divine remembrance revives the heart. Love of God transforms the human being. Spiritual emptiness can be overcome through union with beloved. His poetry ultimately conveys hope and spiritual renewal. On the other hand, Eliot reflects modernism. Eliot presents alienation, fragmentation, inability to pray, moral paralysis. The hollow man remains trapped between the idea and the reality, unable to complete the journey toward redemption. Thus, Eliot describes the condition, whereas Shah Karim offers its cure. That is the great difference. Eliot only describes the condition or situation, however, Shah Karim offers its cure or treatment. Then we come to the language and imagery of both the poets. Both poets demonstrate that powerful spiritual truths can emerge through descriptively simple language. Shah Karim's diction is simple, rooted in everyday Sindhi vocabulary. Heart, skeleton, dry wood, beloved. These ordinary images carry profound mystical significance. Eliot's, Eliot similarly implies plain vocabulary of English: hollow, straw, shadow, eyes, and dead land. Both the poems reflect universal vision of humanity. Despite belonging to different civilizations, both poets suggest that humanity's greatest tragedy is not physical death, but the death of the inner self. For Shah Karim, a person without divine love is spiritually dead. For Eliot, modern humanity has become emotionally and spiritually incapable of authentic existence. In both works, the real crisis is the emptiness of the heart, not the weakness of the body. Major difference between the two thoughts is that Shah Karim views spiritual emptiness as a temporary condition that can be healed through love, remembrance of God, and union with the beloved. Eliot presents emptiness as the defining condition of modern humanity. The poem ends with the spiritual fulfillment, but with famous line, "This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends, not with a bang, but with a whimper." Shah Karim's Sufi vision is ultimately optimistic, while Eliot's modern vision is marked by anxiety, fragmentation, and spiritual uncertainty. If we will conclude all of the discussions during this video, then Shah Karim's couplet and T.S. Eliot's Hollow Man converge in their use of hollow bodily imagery, the empty skeleton and hollow man, to represent spiritual emptiness. Both portray humans as lifeless when disconnected from the deepest source of meaning. Yet their philosophies diverge. Shah Karim affirms that divine love restores life to the heart, whereas Eliot depicts a modern world immobilized by the loss of faith and inability to attain spiritual wholeness. Together, these texts illustrate how two distinct literary traditions, Sindhi Sufi poetry and Anglo American modernism, employ similar symbols to explore the universal crisis of human soul. And that is very much pertinent way and pertinent panacea of this age. Shah Karim's only two lines cover the whole thought presented by T.S. Eliot in Hollow Man when Shah Karim says that Hyun Hazur Jan Perin Akhadan mein Thala Danda Sakhna Hui Jad Diyan. Those people who have no presence of the beloved in their hearts, neither they represent beloved in the eyes, they are living the meaningless life. They are living as just empty skeletons. So this is the very much dilemma of this age, and Shah Karim's two lines can be proposed just as the treatment or panacea for all the ills of modern life and very much hypertension and hyperactivity of the modern market world. Thank you.